Even before we open our lips to pray, I invite you to silence your heart and listen. Because sometimes what we most need is not to say something, but to allow God to speak. His voice still whispers amid the noise, and today He wants to remind you of something essential. Faithfulness is still worthwhile. We live in a world that exalts the visible, the medal, the applause, the number of likes. But there is a deep beauty in the invisible, in that silent choice to do good without an audience, in the discipline no one sees, in the love given without return, in the faith that refuses to give up even when there is no immediate reward. Have you ever thought about the writer who writes for years without readers, or the athlete who trains at dawn without spotlights? Both reap fruits after a long time without recognition, and with God, it is no different. He sees what is done in secret. Every prayer murmured with tears, every right decision that cost comfort, every step in faith even with fear, all counts. Nothing escapes the Father's eyes. So, before any word, receive this truth. God values faithfulness more than success. He rewards the heart that remains, not only the one who conquers. Comment: God sees me, and that is enough, if you believe this. There is a kind of strength that does not show off. It does not appear on social media, nor translate into titles or trophies. It is the strength of those who remain. Those who get up early to pray, even when tired. Those who say no to sin, even when no one would see. Those who forgive again, even with a wounded heart. Faithfulness to God does not happen by chance. It requires choice. Often, it requires sacrifice. Sometimes, it costs friends, opportunities, stability, or even our own will. But still, it is the best choice. The Word reminds us in James 1:12, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love Him." The blessing is not just in winning, but in resisting, in not letting go of God's hand even amid pain. He does not call us to perfection, but to perseverance. It is not talent that moves heaven, it is consistency. God honors those who remain faithful even when everything around screams to give up. And you? Have you remained firm? Remember, every tear you shed out of love for God will be gathered in joy. Nothing, absolutely nothing, is in vain when done for Him. Comment: I choose to remain, if that is your decision today. Obeying God does not always bring visible rewards immediately. In fact, often obedience comes with losses. Have you ever felt that doing right left you alone? That standing firm in your values cost opportunities? That being honest made you misunderstood? It is in these moments that obedience reveals its true essence. Because when following God is easy, everyone wants to do it. But when following God hurts, when it costs something precious, when the price is high, that is when faith shows its depth. Jesus never promised easy paths. He promised to be with us on the path. And that changes everything, because even when obedience seems to impoverish us in the world, it enriches us in heaven. The truth is that God sees what no one else sees. He knows your no's said in secret, the silent decisions you made for love of Him. And He assures, none of this will be forgotten. Obeying when you don't understand, loving when it still hurts, praying when the sky seems closed. All this has eternal value. It may seem weakness to the world's eyes, but it is courage to God's eyes. Are you willing to follow even when it is hard? Right. It is worth obeying if you keep choosing God's will even when it costs. There is a promise that drives us forward even on the darkest days, the crown of life. It is not just any symbol. It is not a poetic metaphor. It is a real reward, promised by a God who does not lie, to everyone who perseveres to the end. The word in James 1:12 reminds us, "Blessed is the one who perseveres under trial, because, having stood the test, that person will receive the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love Him." Do you realize? The blessing is not only for those who win, but for those who remain, for those who do not give up, for those who hold on firmly, even while crying. There is beauty in constant faithfulness, in getting up daily even when tired, In continuing to trust, even without understanding, God honors this journey. And one day, face to face with Jesus, not the image we imagine, but the living King, with eyes of fire and hands marked by the cross, we will receive that crown, and everything will make sense. Every tear will be gathered, every pain will be justified, every sacrifice will be rewarded. You are not just surviving this life, you are running toward an eternal prize. If you believe this promise, write, "I await the crown," as a sign of your faith and perseverance. There are days when obeying God seems to bring no results. You choose to forgive, but the pain remains. You choose to be honest, but lose the opportunity. You decide to love, but continue being ignored. And in those moments, the enemy whispers, "See, it's not worth it." But the truth is, every step of obedience is a seed planted in eternity, even when no one sees, even when there is no recognition. God sees, God records, God values. The Apostle Peter gives us powerful hope. And when the chief shepherd appears, you will receive the crown of glory that will never fade away. 1 Peter 5:4. That hidden attitude, that lonely effort, that silent yes to God, all will be revealed at the right time. You are not foolish for obeying. You are faithful. You are a daughter. And there is no safer place than being at the center of the Father's will, even if it costs everything. God is not asking for perfection. He is asking for perseverance. If this word spoke to your heart, like this video as a sign you choose to obey even without applause. And share with someone who also needs to remember God rewards faithfulness. Even when you feel invisible, know that in God's eyes, nothing is wasted. Your tears, your silent struggles, every yes said in secret, all is being recorded by the Father. Others may ignore your dedication. They may not notice the sacrifices you make, the battles you fight alone, or how hard it was to keep standing. But God sees. God's word in Hebrews 6:10 reminds us with strength and tenderness, God is not unjust. He will not forget your work and the love you have shown him, as you have helped his people and continue to help them. Heaven counts what the earth ignores. Do you love and are not reciprocated? Do you serve and receive no recognition? Do you forgive and keep being hurt? God is watching, and he not only sees, he rewards. Because true faithfulness is not proven in the spotlight, but in the shadow of pain. It is easy to keep faith when all is well, but when the path darkens, that is where your trust in God shines most brightly. Do not think your lonely prayers, your hidden generosity, or your inner struggles went unnoticed. In due time, God will make everything you sowed in faith bloom. He knows your heart, and he is just. If this truth reached you, write in the comments, God sees everything, and share with someone tired of not being noticed. There are days when obeying God feels light and full of peace, but there are others when obedience weighs like a cross. It demands renunciation. It demands courage. Sometimes obeying means giving up something you really wanted. Other times it means standing firm when everything inside you screams to give up. And the hardest part? Obeying when it makes no sense. When God asks you to wait while everything around moves fast. When he says no and you expected a yes. When he calls you to a narrower path while others go by easier and more popular routes. But that is when faith is revealed. True obedience does not depend on full understanding, but on total trust. You do not need to understand everything to trust God. You only need to remember who he is, faithful, good, just, and full of love for you. Remember Abraham, who left his land without knowing where he was going. Remember Joseph, who was faithful even when unjustly imprisoned. Remember Jesus, who obeyed to the cross. They all understood in the end why every step. If today your obedience costs dearly, know it will be honored. Nothing sincerely given to God is lost. If this word spoke to your heart, click like and write, Lord, I trust even without understanding. Share with someone who needs to keep obeying even without answers. Sometimes it seems no one notices what you do. You love without receiving love back, forgive in silence, serve without recognition, pray for others but no one prays for you, walk faithfully while others reap visible fruits and you only plant, day after day. But heaven is never blind. God sees every held back tear, every choice made for him in secret, every act of love no one applauds. He sees the yes you gave when you could have chosen the easier way. He knows the sacrifice no one else noticed. And the truth is, nothing is in vain when done for God. The world values what shines. God values what is faithful. The world applauds what appears. God rewards what is done in secret. Matthew 6:6 reminds us, "Your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you openly." Your faithfulness is not being ignored. It is being noted in heaven. Keep doing good, even without an audience. One day, God Himself will be your reward. If you have served in secret, comment, "God sees me." Share with someone who needs this reminder. And don't forget to like if this word touched your heart. In life, we run after many things: success, recognition, approval, comfort. But all these things are temporary. They pass, wear out, and in the end, do not satisfy the soul. The Bible calls us to run the race of faith, with eyes fixed on Jesus, the author and finisher of this journey, Hebrews 12:1-2. It is not an easy race. It has obstacles, tiredness, moments when we want to give up. But it is the only race that leads to eternal life. When we look beyond the immediate, we see that effort, waiting, and struggle have purpose and value. Every sacrifice has an eternal reward. Every tear will be wiped away. Every moment of pain transformed into victory. Therefore, even tired, keep firm. Even discouraged, keep running. God's reward is worth more than any fleeting glory of this world. If this message strengthened your faith, share this video to reach other runners of faith. Like and write in the comments, "I run for the crown of life." One day the moment will come to meet Jesus face to face. No longer imagining, no longer doubting, but before the King of Kings, whose eyes shine with love and whose hands still bear the marks of the cross. On that day, everything will make sense. Every tear shed, every sleepless night, every moment of struggle and obedience will be rewarded. Jesus will place the crown of life on your head and say, "Well done, good and faithful servant." This crown is not a symbol of vanity, but of faithfulness, perseverance, and unshakable love. It is the prize for those who chose to follow the Lord, even when the journey was hard. So, even when it seems nothing is worth it, remember, you are investing in what is eternal. You are storing treasures in heaven. If this word touched your heart, like, share, and comment. I am waiting for my crown. May this hope strengthen us every day.